one thing that my godmother always taught me, she said, never tell your friend to leave their husband.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Juice and Jury podcast season 2. We are back. I'm so sorry for the very long hiatus, but we are back. It's now after the Canadian Thanksgiving, and we're getting ready for the fall and the holiday season. How are you ladies doing?
I'm good. I'm great. Glad to be back.
Same.
Yeah.
And you, Sean?
I miss the warm weather though. I'm a summer girl at heart, and I am not. I mean, the fall is pretty, but I'm not enjoying the cold weather.
Yep, I hear you.
Yeah, I feel like the summers in Toronto, they can be pretty mucky and gross. So I usually like the beginning of the fall.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, like September. Because September is starting to change the leaves and it's still warm enough that you don't need a jacket.
Yeah. I'd agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's okay. What did you guys do for Thanksgiving?
Well, I actually just recently got back from Mexico, so that was good. We came back right before Thanksgiving weekend, but it kind of sucks that my husband got a little sick, so we didn't end up having a whole a big family thing, but we had a nice dinner, so it was good. Thanksgiving was great.
Did you cook?
You know what? My husband does most of the cooking, but I sent the table.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's nice.
Yeah.
Must be nice. What about you, Sean?
We just went to my parents' place, and it's very just small in our immediate family, and ate.
That's cool. Yeah. Your family is very close. I can see. Mm-hmm. Your parents are adorable. They are. Yeah. So is Tia. Tiana also has adorable parents. They're really cute.
But yes.
Anywho, I did nothing. Oh no, I did do something. Hold on. We went to my in-laws' house, but really, really late. Like I'm talking, we got there at like 8, 9 o'clock at night and had dinner at like 9, 10. Yeah.
And ate that late?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was cool. It was good to see them. I love my in-laws, so it was fun. And it was low key-ish. I'm also not somebody who likes to stay up super, super late. So as soon as we were done eating, I'm like, let's go. I want to go and back be in bed.
You went there so late. So what do you expect?
I know, but I'm just tired by that time. Especially after eating a full meal, I'm done.
Yeah.
And wine. And I'm like, I just want to be in bed. So
No, I just wanted to say that I think it's great that we're back because there's so much happening in the world right now, right? And I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I feel like are, being able to talk to your friends and your people, I think that it's kind of comforting. So and take your mind off of a lot of the stuff that's happening. So I think it's nice to be back. That's all I want to say.
Yes, well said. Thank you for sharing that. I agree. It's so important to have a good support system and somebody to talk to. And if you don't have a support system, I don't know. What's the answer? If you don't have a support system,
get some friends. What are you gonna say? Get some.
I was like, is there a helpline?
Where are they?
Yeah, I was like, is there a helpline for that or something I could point to?
A friendship. No, but remember, you could go on Kijiji and find.
Or you could just be you could be our friends. Leave a comment.
You could be our friends. Put it in the comments, and we'll be friends. No, seriously, I'm okay with that. So, but if you feel like you have no one to talk to us. Put in the comments, send us a direct message, whatever you need to do. We're here to listen. And that sounds a lot better than what I was just saying. And so I wanted to ask you guys, because all of us here are millennial women, right? Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of stuff on making jokes at the expense of millennials, or oddly taking millennial fashion and music and revamping it for Gen Z and the newer generations, right? So I want to ask you guys, what would you say is your go-to or your favorite like millennial 90s 2000s R&B song or pop song? Like when you think
Tell you
of
right now,
millennial music,
I don't even have to think about it.
what is it?
It's
What is it,
TLC
Sean?
Waterfalls. I know that whole song. I know Left Eye's rap, okay?
I know Left Eye's rap too.
Okay.
Yes.
I do
I
not
know
know
Left
his rap, but
You don't know Left Eye's rap. You need to get on that. Your millennial
maybe
card
I
is
do.
revoked.
You know, you hear the song, all of a sudden you know the words. You're like, whoa, I actually know the words because you heard it so many times.
Yeah.
So maybe I knew. Maybe I do know the whole rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you do. You just gotta hear the song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
that
just start right.
TLC, man. That, yeah.
That's a good one. And you know it's funny. Okay, this is not TLC, but you know the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air rap?
Yeah.
Mike, know that like are familiar with that rap now because they've watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with me, and in the car they ask me to rap it. Like, sing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air rap. I'm like, okay, let's go. In West Philadelphia. Yeah, so that's super millennial to me. Super millennial.
West Philadelphia, bold and raised.
Born and raised. If you're millennial and you cannot say that rap, your millennial card is revoked. You're done. You're no longer allowed in the millennial club.
True.
Yeah. What about you, T? What would you say?
I mean, listen, I'm about the band, so I like Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, like those, like Aaron Carter. But let's go with Spice Girls. You remember that song? That song.
Spice Girls. Listen, I don't think anyone. Maybe there are, but I haven't personally met anybody who was as big a Spice Girl fan as me and my sister.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
I have not met anyone.
We all were, Maureen. Stop this.
Listen. I have to tell you, okay, that this is how far it went. So we would watch their music videos over and over and over on repeat. And we would watch it and like we'd pick a Spice Girl. So like I would always be Scary Spice and my sister was always Baby Spice. And we would imitate all their moves. Like if she went with her arm like this, we would whatever they did, we did. Why I froze? Yeah. Are you guys laughing? Yeah.
You're like
disconnect.
We need to talk about that internet. Are you with Belle Rogers?
Both. I have both at home.
They're failing you. They're failing you. So
Rogers.
It could just be maybe you are connected to too many devices.
I think that's what it is. I think there's just too many devices connected because Dumo's on his laptop as well. I have my phone and the other phone and there's just a lot of stuff. We have like several laptops connected. So yeah. Okay, cool. I like it. What about, we talked about music. I was like, did we talk? Yes, we did. We talked about music. What about millennial style? What comes to mind that you either wore all the time or thought was super cool or like, what comes to mind with millennial style? Go, Sean. I feel like you already have the answer.
Yeah, I already know. Like this is totally my thing. So I had these pair of shoes from Le Chateau. They were hologram sneakers. Okay. So so they would like turn pink or they turn green depending on like how you walked. Like I just love these shoes. I wore them into the ground. Okay. Until someone was just like, I'm like, you're in grade 10. Maybe, change up your style a little bit.
But I'm going to tell you, that sounds really fun. And now you say shoes. I have two shoes that come to mind, but one of them is not currently in style. And I really wish we would bring it back because I love the style, which is the Doc Martens.
Oh, I
love them.
Martin's been back. You know that, right?
But I feel like
I have not seen anyone.
Totally been back. Totally.
But I had to wear, I didn't have to wear them for uniform.
In different forms.
In my school, most people chose Doc Martens.
I didn't have Doc Martens. Not for school. Like I had them.
You mean like the combat boot Doc Martens? Or you mean like the Oxford looking type shoe?
The Oxford ones or the combat ones. Either one.
They're being worn for sure. And like it's they changed it a little bit. They almost look like military boots, but it's the same style. So that style
with the jeans, with the like kind of loose jeans that are high waisted. That's what they used to wear in like the
that
90s.
will look. I mean, the jeans. I mean, they come at separate times, but the shoes have been back.
Wow.
Yeah,
I have
the
not
shoes
seen them.
back.
I've been
Yeah.
You know what I see everybody wear now, the Gen Zers? Everybody's just wearing sweats. That's all they wear, sweats and baggy t-shirts or sweats and crop t-shirts. That's how you know it's a Gen Zer.
That's what they wear. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
the crop shirts for sure.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say it. I think it did make a comeback a couple of years ago or something like that. But I want them to make a full comeback. Tearaway pants. Remember like Adidas tearaway
Oh my
pants?
god.
Yes, love those.
Tearaway
Yeah.
pants.
And then
I
you
had
open
the
the bottom
Adidas
with a little
ones.
flare.
I had the Fila ones. And
Yeah.
I had
Oh
the
my
Fila ones.
gosh, can we please bring those back? Those were
Tearaways.
dope.
I think you can
That
still
was
get a pair of
good.
tearaway
That's
pants.
like the sign of the 90s, right? Or that you're millennials. Yeah.
I know. I've seen a pair of tearaway pants on Urban Outfitters.
Yeah, no, I think they try to make the comeback like a little bit, but not fully.
Yeah, it's not
But then
the
you can
OG.
full
Yeah.
comeback.
Maybe wait for the next 5 years, they'll be back. Like we
It'll
need to
come
just
back.
start wearing them around, and then people will be like, "Oh my god, that looks so dope!" Like, but I
Yeah.
love tearaway pants. They're
They
so
were the best.
good.
But
Yeah.
you know what? Like the other day, I was like cleaning out my closet, and there was a few things, like a couple of jeans. I was like, okay, this is not in style anymore. But I was thinking maybe I'll just hold on to them because they actually might make a comeback. Like just so you know, skinny jeans, they're out. Don't wear
I
skinny
heard.
jeans.
Yes.
Yeah,
I still have one though. I still wear one.
But you know what? Hold on to it because you never know. In a couple of years, they can make their comeback. Because now it's like the high waisted, like wide leg jeans. That's what's wearing right now. So we just have to keep up with the times. And yeah, we gotta look to all the Gen Zs for what's really in right now. So
yeah, but I don't know. Some like I still wear what I like. You know what I mean?
I think that's the thing though. That's the thing. I saw this documentary, or like this, not a documentary, but like a video clip on YouTube about why, and this is a whole other topic, but why people before looked so much older when they were young. Like people in high school looked like they were 30, and now people in high school look really young. And they're saying that part of that is because aging is changing a little bit, but another part of that is because the way people dressed, they don't change it over time. And so for example, as we age, that the way that we dress becomes how old people dress. If that makes any sense.
Say that again.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So the way that you dress right now, if you don't change your style, it becomes seen as that's the old person style.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you wear skinny jeans and skinny jeans never come back into fashion, when you're like 70, when you're like 70, that's going to be associated with like, oh, that's a 70-year-old. I don't want to wear those. I'd be dressed like a 70-year-old kind of thing. And they did that by showing like a photo. They showed a photo of a guy who was 19 years old in the 70s, and he was aging every year, and he wore the same outfit every year. And then the outfit that he wore when he was 80 did look like an old man outfit because it was the one that was trendy in the 70s, but it's no longer trendy. So
so you gotta be
well, if you want to look young, yes, but if you don't care, then wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still dress for comfort, but and like I will take maybe a trend or a style, but I won't do the whole thing. I find that ages you.
Wear whatever you want to me.
You know what I mean? Like I think if you're like, I don't know. Yeah. Like I think if you're gonna do something, like
you have to do it right.
I think you have to do it right. You have to do it right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And for different people, it's different style. We don't all have the same style. So
bring back the 90s style because and bring back Blockbuster. No, I'm kidding. We have Netflix. Definitely miss Blockbuster, and I'm waiting for BSB to go on tour again because I really need to see them in concert. Backstreet Boys.
Wait, I know who BSB is,
Yeah.
but wait, because have you heard Brian sing recently?
No. Why?
Yeah, something happened with his voice.
Oh, he can't sing anymore?
Not really.
Damn.
No. Go listen to them now. They don't sound like they used to. Like live, I'm sure they practice. I'm not hating on them. I love them. I'm always going to be a fan. But something happened to Brian's voice, and he was like their lead singer. So it's a bit of
He's
a
the short one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, go watch something of them like recently, like when they're rehearsing and stuff. They even talk about it, and they even fight about it. They were fighting about it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch, but yeah, I love them. I still support them, but they're not the 1990s BSB. They're not the Backstreet's back.
Would we want them to be the same? You know what I mean? 90s.
Yeah,
I would.
That's what I'm going to. I want them to be exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Don't age. Yeah,
Like,
don't change.
That's not right.
I fell in love with that. Please don't change.
Yeah.
Like, even when artists sing their new songs at concerts, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll listen for a bit, but go back to what I know. Like, I like this, but the original, like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, so. This is not what made me fall in love with you. You need to go back to the
yeah.
Same thing with Spice Girls.
Very soon, so I'm excited.
I just feel like that's so much pressure, though.
Yeah.
It is a lot of pressure. It's not something they can actually live up to.
And that's like also like a relationship. It's like, I want you to be the person I fell in love with. They're not going to be that same person.
But it's not. Yes, you're right.
I was like, true, but this is different.
Yeah, like, you know, with your spouse, there's like like
you grow with them. You know what it is.
Grow with them. You grow with them.
You see them changing, but BSB,
exactly.
I'm like, I didn't see you for like a whole 20 years. You better be the same person I met you. That's it.
Fair enough.
Don't change. I'm sorry. But NSYNC might go on tour apparently, and like they were like my second favorite, so I wouldn't mind seeing them.
Do you guys remember B2K?
Yep. Yes. Hello. Is Omarion?
What is it? What's that song that their hit?
No. Wait, is it Omarion's band, or was that his like friend, like the
other band? Yeah. Nah,
IMX was Omarion. IMX was Omarion's band. B2K is like the next, like their cousin band or something.
Yeah, the younger one, the younger group, right? Yes, that's right. Okay.
But I remember them too. Yes.
Damn, we could talk about the 90s and the 2000s like for a long time.
I know, that could be a whole episode.
We gotta wrap it up because there's just too much. Like I want to start talking about Bow Wow. Like, when I get into Bow Wow, it doesn't end. I'm like, okay, I go on YouTube and I'm like cleaning and I play Bow Wow and I'm like, oh, every song was a hit. Like I love it.
I was
like Bow Wow now. Yes. And like now that he's older, like I can't take it seriously. Like I can't take him seriously.
I have not seen anything from him.
I'm so accustomed to him as little Bow Wow that like I can't wrap my head around him not being, because he was little Bow Wow. Like he's supposed to be little forever. You know what I mean?
But he was hosting 106 in Park for a while, and he didn't look like little Bow Wow at that time. He did? He looked pretty old to me.
Like little Bow Wow. Kind of. Well, yeah. I mean, a little older, but still.
He's a good-looking dude. I always thought. Yeah.
Drake actually recently brought him out. Like Drake's, was in concert. He just finished his tour. And Drake brought him out on stage and thanked him for being like sort of like a role model or someone he looked up to. So Bow Wow, had his moment.
Oh, cute.
It was cute. That was sweet. But anywho, because you brought up like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like Will Smith. Okay, I mean, no, I want to say Jada, she has her new book coming out and she's been talking and the streets have been listening because she's saying a lot of stuff. So I'm not sure if you know, I think it was just last week, she came out and said that her and Will Smith have been separated since 2016.
Yes, I heard that in the grapevine.
That pretty much blew everyone away because when that infamous Oscar slap happened, they weren't even together. Not to say that he shouldn't have defended her, like either way, but they actually weren't together at that time. I'm sure some of the fans think they owed it to them to kind of like tell people that you weren't together because you're making people think that you're in some perfect relationship, but meanwhile you're separated. You might be living in the same house, or maybe you're not. You know what I mean? And at the same time, during that period, there was that whole scandal with oh gosh, what was the
Oh yeah,
whole?
yeah, that rapper.
No, is Augustine? What's his name?
August. Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't even remember
Yeah,
it.
there was that whole scandal with him that she had had an
Was he not a
affair
rapper
with him as well.
or an actor?
I have no idea who he is, but I just know that he was like a younger guy. But people were saying like, oh yeah, she had an affair, and they were kind of like, scolding her. But the thing is, now we learn that they actually weren't together. So
Yeah.
they've been pretty private about the relationship. Now that she has her new book coming out, she's deciding to really reveal this information, which is great because now everyone's like, wait a minute, we need to read this book because there's going to be a lot of more things that we're going to learn about the relationship. But it kind of leads me to, it makes me think like, how private should your relationship be? Right? Like how much can you really tell your family and friends about what's happening within your relationship, within your marriage? And I mean, I really don't think she owed it to anybody or they owed it to anybody to talk about it. But I feel like, damn, like you really had people thinking that you guys were like the perfect couple because like, thinking like, oh, you guys are living this private life or whatnot. And
I never thought they were the perfect couple, though, to be honest. Like that never wasn't like when
well,
I
when
saw Will and Jada, I never.
then you kind of look at it differently. But it looked like they were like down for each other. I remember there's that one, I don't know, they were on a red carpet and Will was like kind of giving her the spotlight. It was cute. They looked cute. I can say the same thing for like Beyonce and Jay-Z. They look like a really, compatible, perfect couple, but who knows what's really going on in the relationship. There's also, I'm not sure if you know, Adele and her, I don't know, boyfriend or whatever. We're not even sure if they're married. I think she referred to him as her husband, but then he doesn't say that she's his wife. I don't know, whatever. Just coming down to like privacy of relationships. How private should couples really be? How much should you reveal to your family and friends? You don't owe anybody anything. That's my opinion. But what do you guys think? What do you think?
Okay, I have some opinions about this whole situation and about, being private in your relationship. So with Will and Jada, they're public figures. So it's not like you or me who have our privacy. They don't really have the right to privacy, in my opinion. Once you decide to be a public figure, I mean, you can try as much as you can to keep your life private. People like Beyonce are doing a really great job at that. But I think that if you are going to be marketing yourself and creating like a market for yourself as a relationship guru or somebody who's giving advice, like she has that red table talk thing and she has, all this stuff. And he also gives lots of advice in his videos. And I'm not saying you can't give advice, but it's really misleading to the people who are watching you to show like act one way and behind the scenes it's actually not true at all. And I don't, if they didn't do all of that, then I would be like, it's none of our business. Like, I don't think it's our business to know what Beyonce is doing, but she doesn't come out and try and give everybody else advice on their relationships, right? So I feel like with Will and Jada being the personas that they are, and I'm not judging their relationship because I'm sure it was harder for them than anything. Like, it can't be easy to be in a relationship that's so tumultuous and that has so many other people involved. And so I think everyone feels bad for Will, including me. I felt really upset with him when he slapped Chris Rock, but now looking back, knowing what I know, he actually had a lot of pain and it wasn't even directed at Chris Rock. I feel like the pain that he actually had was directed at Jada, but he just took it out on Chris Rock. And yeah, I felt bad for him. But to the question of whether people should be involved in your relationship, I would say for the majority of people, no, unless it's like a situation where there's danger, then you need to tell somebody. But if it's a situation where, it's something you can work out peacefully and resolve with respect and all that stuff, always try and resolve stuff with your spouse. Don't bring other people into it. unless there's like a mediator or somebody that you know and trust. Like I think there's a few exceptions, but generally speaking, I think that, you know, most relationships should stay private. Those little things shouldn't come out into the open. And my grandma always said that, you know, people might look great on the outside, but you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You don't know. So
yeah,
that's what I think.
And yeah, to go back on the Jada thing, I think that's like if it's one thing that she should be transparent about, it should be that, because like that's what she does.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the whole privacy thing. Yeah, I think the less people know, the happier you'll be. Although I think like family and friends, there's a like depends on the trust that you have there for family and friends. Because you also don't want to like taint. Do you get what I mean when I say taint? Like you don't want to taint their ideas and their opinions of your spouse.
Yeah.
Right? So like you don't want to go and say everything all the time.
Right. I think the only exception to that, though, again, is if there is physical danger. Yeah. Physical danger or like anything close to that, any kind of suspicion of abuse, you need to talk to somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I think it's important, excuse me, to be private in your relationship. And I think if you trust somebody, then you can talk to them. It's funny. I'm just like talking about my relationship. I feel like if I told my parents or my mom or my sisters anything like remotely negative about my husband, they'd be like, yeah, I don't believe you. Like this it's your fault. What did you do? I know my family. So it's like, I won't even bother. Even if I said something that was like, you know, they'll be like, okay, so what was your part in this? Like they would always do. So that's just how it is for me. But I think it's important to be private because it's your relationship, and you know, relationships go through
ups and downs,
their peaks and valleys, and you need to respect your partner too. You don't need to necessarily put your information out there unless you actually trust the other person and you feel like they can give you valuable information, because keeping things bottled up inside, you could explode. But if you actually reached out to someone and got some support or a different perspective, that actually might improve the way you look at things. So I think as long as you have that person that you can trust when you're going through that challenging time, that's the most important piece. So find your person that is like, okay, we can lock it down. Everything is between me and you, and that you can trust. And then okay. But also,
absolutely. And I agree. And I want to add that I think, like you said, it should be just one person. It's not like you're going around telling everybody you know. Yeah. Exactly. That I agree with. If there's like one trusted person, one confidant that you have that's going to give you kind of an unbiased kind of advice, or like somebody who you know has your best interest at heart, then that would be okay. But like, I think, you know what, because we're girls, that's why we're all saying, oh yeah, it's okay to tell one person. I think if you ask the guys, they would say absolutely not tell anybody at all.
I don't think my husband would.
Your husband would what?
I don't think my husband's that person who would be like, oh, I won't tell anybody anything. I don't think. I think he's kind of like,
he's very social though. Your husband?
Yeah, he's an open person, so he's not like that like type person like, oh, I'm gonna like not say anything. Like, yeah, he's actually a very honest person, so that's why. But yeah, but privacy and relationships are important. I think we can all agree.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to we need to bring the jury. Like, I feel like the jury hasn't really spoken too much. Like,
okay, let's bring in the jury. Hold on.
Yeah. So the question is, okay. So, I mean, my stance on privacy in relationships, yes, you should be private in your relationship. Absolutely. Yeah. Because, and sometimes people, you never know if they can be secretly plotting, like, jealous of you or whatever. So I think that if you put your business out there, there could be that people can literally steer you in the wrong direction, where they'll be like, you know what? I feel like sorry, and I also just want to add this one thing that my godmother always taught me. She said, "Never tell your friend to leave their husband." When we were young, we didn't. We were. Well, how old were we? Like 10. She always said, she's like, never ever give the advice to a friend to leave their husband. Never do it, and I never would. And I can understand that. As
Why?
an
Like, even if
um,
they're getting beat up, you should never tell them that.
I mean, she didn't get into that. Like, she wasn't like, oh, if they're even if they're getting abused. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't put it past her that she would say like, I
Mm.
think it's important for you not to. I think you could give them like, explain what what options can be, but I think for you to tell your friend
What
that
to
you should
do?
leave somebody is or leave their spouse, I think that would be bad advice, especially if there's kids involved and other things. Like you could actually like I don't know. It depends on the situation, obviously, but I do feel like I wouldn't give my friend that advice. That's just me.
I agree. I think generally speaking, I always try and tell whoever is having an issue with the relationship, try to find ways to work it out. Like I'm always like rooting for them to stick together. But obviously, the exception for me would be if there is physical violence and I felt like their life was at risk. Then be telling them, I would be telling them, you need to leave because of the statistics, and the statistics are that women die at the hands of their abusers if they stay for a long time.
Mhm.
And so that's the only reason why I would be voting for them to leave. And I would actually try and support them and be like, what do you need from me? Like, you can stay at my house, you can do whatever you need to do, I'm here for you. But that's in, like, again,
When they make
extreme
that
scenarios.
decision.
Yeah. And that would be, again, in extreme scenarios. And I would never push someone. I would just be like, give them the support they need so that when they're ready to do that, they can go. But I would tell them, like, hey, you need to, even with if there's kids involved, because I still think that could be traumatic for the kids. And I know maybe it's not my place to say that, but it's just because I care about my friend. That's why I would say that.
Yeah.
But and then the other thing I wanted to say was, you mentioned something about you shouldn't tell your friends because sometimes they might be jealous and stuff. And I was thinking, like, they could even be jealous if you're talking too many good things about your husband. Like, if you say too much good about them, then they get jealous and they might even start to, like, desire your husband. Like, I know that's crazy, but it could happen. So you have to be really careful about who you share things about your husband with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to the other thing about like not telling the person to leave their husband, I've known people who've been in relationships and have like totally just I don't want to say given up, but kind of just have changed, not for the better. Like, when you get with someone, you're not supposed to become better, but generally speaking, it's an upliftment, right? Your significant other. And I've seen people get with other people who have just brought them down. And like honest, like, and it wouldn't be just me who sees it. It's like it's clearly evident. And so, like, what would you do in that situation? Because I feel like I would have a conversation. I'd just be like, listen.
It could be a form of abuse. Like, not all abuse is physical. So it depends. Yeah, depends.
Yeah, that's true.
I would advise them to see if there's ways that they could mend
Right.
it, like, and be like, is there something you guys can work on? Can you go see a therapist? Can you plan more, adventurous things together, or,
Yeah.
whatever, like,
Well,
read.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in this one, I mean, like, it was a give and take. Like, one person was giving and one person was taking, and like the giver was just like,
Did they
that's
have a
what the giver
conversation?
does, just gives. So they couldn't see it. Sometimes it takes somebody like on the outside to give you a perspective, I guess. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I think first thing is make sure your friend is safe, right? Their safety is most important, but also go with what they want as well. But also keeping their safety in mind, because your friend will always let you know through their conversation what they want. So if they
no,
want
this has nothing to do with
to stay
safety.
like, pardon?
This doesn't have to do with safety. This just has to do with their demeanor in the relationship.
Okay, so if it has nothing to do with safety, um, like I said, go with what your friend actually wants. Do they want to stay in the relationship? You'll hear it through their conversation. And I think as a friend, what I would do is I would kind of continue with that because you know what they want based off what they're
Mhm.
saying. they're saying like, I really love this person or whatever, and I want to stay, but they're telling you they want to stay. So think of reasons or think of ways that they can make the relationship work. That's the
but you know that the relationship isn't good for them.
Pardon?
You know that the relationship isn't good for them. Let's say it's been like 5 years. You're just gonna sit there and watch your friend.
But wait,
for another
what
5 years.
Because your friend is an adult as well, right? What?
Yeah, I know, but sometimes when you're in a relationship, you can't exactly see. You can't see what is happening. Sometimes you need an outside perspective, and maybe it would come from a friend. Maybe they would need to see a therapist. But
love is blind.
Do you understand?
Yeah, like I think giving the different perspectives is important. Like be their voice of reason is essentially what I would do. But again, I still stand by not saying, like bluntly, leave them. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is like don't ruin relationships. Try and help your friend mend their relationships. But in a case where like there's some serious detriments to their health, then that's the only time where you can like consider being like, no, I need to protect you. So I'm telling you straight up, you got to go. Like, obviously you can't force them, but you could advise them strongly and be like, no matter what, you can't force a grown person to do anything. But if they're coming to you as a confidant, that means they value your opinion, hopefully. And then you can give them your advice or your advice to leave, and just let them know they're supported either way. I think that's the biggest part. But yeah.
Support and their safety. And also remember that regardless of what they say to you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know what's happening in the relationship. So I feel like if you make a comment or you say something like leave, you actually don't know the big picture. There could be a lot of other things that your friend is not saying. So just be, I think, just a voice of reason and yeah, it's just out of love.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know the other side.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, we're gonna just segue, I guess, into the next thing. But I think that I don't know too many actually. How many people do you know that are divorced, that are in their 30s or divorced after 30? I know one person, only one person.
Not personally, but like 3 people, like within a circle, like around me, and they're not personally like our age. Yeah.
What about you, T? Do you know anybody?
No one I can think of right now. I have close family members. Not my, like, they're not my age.
Yeah.
But people.
No, we're talking about like our age. Are people
I do know people, but they're not people that are close to me. No.
The people who are that I know that are going through a divorce are like they got married in their 20s.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. All the people that I know, one that is divorced and one that was planning to be divorced but hasn't done it yet. And yeah, it's hard, I think. I don't know. You know what I think is, go ahead, Sean.
No, I was going to say, I feel like at this stage in life to go through a divorce would be really rough. Like your late 30s, entering your 40s, I feel like it would.
What do you think is the hardest part?
Especially if you have kids involved, or especially like, I don't know, because I just feel like when I think of my late 30s, my 40s, it's your time to enjoy like married life. I feel like, well, for me personally, my 20s and my early 30s, that was my like, I was still exploring. I was still trying to figure out who I was. I wasn't, and I feel like I'm in a space now where like I'm comfortable. I know who I am. I'm happy. And like, if it was taken away, then what?
Yeah. Do you have a crisis?
Am I supposed to go and live my 20s now to find somebody? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, that's the question is, which I'm very glad I don't have to do. The dating scene, from what I hear, is horrible. So I'm thinking that would be probably one of the most challenging parts of having to re-enter. Or if you don't want to, I guess you don't have to. But eventually, most people want to find a partner. So I think that would be hard. And then again, if you have young children, That would be insanely hard. And there's just so much to it. And then if you own any property, figuring all of that out is hard.
Yeah.
And it's just all hard.
Yeah, going
And
on
then,
the whole property thing and like your finances, like I feel like when you're in your late 30s, your 40s, like you've come to a point where you've built something at this point. And then
to restart. And then also the question of the in-laws, that's always going to be awkward, especially if there's kids. Having to deal with in-laws after divorce. I don't even know what that would feel like. That would be awkward, I think, too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is making me think. There's this girl that I follow on Instagram. She was with her boyfriend for 10 years. They got married and then got divorced within 6 months.
What? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, and it was nothing that neither of them did.
It doesn't make any sense. They were dating for 10 years, got married and divorced in 6 months.
Got married in and then divorced in 6 months. And she was just saying it's nothing that I guess neither one of them had done. Maybe they just grew apart. I don't know.
Did he say that too, or is it just her that gave an opinion?
This is just her side of the story that I'm hearing.
So that's what I'm saying. There's two sides of the story. I don't know. That's very strange. But I'm sure he wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think, T?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like, so this is what I would say. If, as long as there aren't any children involved, yes, maybe finances. Obviously, divorce would be hard regardless. But if you're in your late 30s and you get divorced, I feel like you still have a lot of life. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like,
of course,
I think that would be better than, to be honest with you, than in your like late 40s. I feel like you've already passed the kind of like a time limit where you're like, oh wait, what do I do now, sort of thing.
Wait, late 40s, only 10 years later you're out of time?
No, I'm just saying. I feel like, but no, hear me out. I feel like in your late 30s, I mean, you can have a baby at any age, but like, I'm just saying, I feel like,
oh, you're thinking about like that, have a family.
A lot more there. You know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what age you are. I feel like your life is yours to live, and it does suck. Obviously, divorce at any age would suck, but I think amongst your peers that would be embarrassing. That's what I could imagine. But at the same time, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, right? So at least you know. Yeah. So I don't think it matters what age you are.
Yeah, I don't see, like, I don't
at any age, but what I'm saying is that in your late 30s, it's like you're still kind of young. You know what I mean? Like in your 50s, it's like, okay, you really got to look into. You know what? No, because there's cougars all the time. Because I'm like, your late 50s, because you could be, pretty like well established. You could be, a cougar, and you can be dating someone in your 20s, like in their 20s. So it doesn't matter. So
I was thinking you were gonna say like, oh, in your late 30s you're still young, but it's not like you're in your. And I was waiting for you to say like 70s or 60, and you're like late 40s. I'm like late 40s.
No, I'll go with 50s. But at the end of the day, actually, now I think about it, it doesn't matter what age you are.
But
because you can find love at any age. You can figure it out again. And people break up for different reasons at any age. Like people get divorced late into their 60s because they realize, like, listen, I lived my whole life with you and I actually don't want you. Moving on. Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever. But you know what I mean? Like it could just happen. So I feel like we shouldn't feel like it's hard to start over, but divorce does suck. Obviously I can imagine, but that's it. Yeah.
But so that was another thing that I was going to mention that you were saying about some people in their 60s. Why is it going to take you 25 years into your marriage to realize that you don't want to be with that person? That's
it's not that. It's that there's things that were tying you together. Maybe your kids were too young. Now you figured out, okay, my kids are older and I don't want to hurt them, because when divorce, I think divorce.
Maybe that's just
when you're younger, it's a little different, or maybe the finances. So maybe not. You know what I mean? There's different reasons why people get divorced at different ages. I just feel like
I agree. I think that at any age you can find love. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
At any age, divorce sucks. Like I don't think at any age it's easy. But yeah, I think that, people get divorced for so many different reasons. Like, what about, like, this is a topic for another time. I'm not going to open this right now. But what about people who get married and then get divorced and then become gay?
Mhm.
That shit happens. They have kids, they have a whole family life, and then they get divorced and they're gay. And I've seen that so many times. So I mean, things happen. People make decisions in their life, and then they change. People change. So you never know, right? Yeah.
All right, ladies. So, what's the verdict? Should you be private in your relationships? Is it yay or nay?
Yes.
Yay.
Absolutely be private. Sure.
Is it harder to get divorced in your 30s than later on?
I don't know. I feel like it might be a little. It would be harder. I just feel like you're more established later on in life, and then
My answer is yes, because divorce is hard regardless.
no, but and also like let's say you're with somebody for 25 years and then you decide to get a divorce. It's probably amicable at that point. You're probably both deciding to go separate ways.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They could be like years of cheating. You don't know, right? But so it depends. I think I don't know if there's a specific age that would make divorce easier. But I do think like what he said is true is when you're still young, you have more opportunity to restart. Whereas when you're older, it feels like you have less opportunity, even though you may not. It might not be the case. It just feels that way for you, maybe as you get older.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be harder for me to no, it would be harder for me later. Right now would be easier if I did it because like I still have my youth. I could still go out and do whatever. But when I'm older and I'm like maybe a little bit slower and maybe not as beautiful
But your
and
kids
maybe
will be
not
older.
as I know, but maybe I won't have the desire to do things like I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm just thinking for me.
Right.
So I feel like personally, I think later on would be harder than 30s. Even though 30s would also be very, very hard, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, just thinking about it, thinking through how I would cope, I think it would be easier to do earlier than later.
Fair enough.
What do you guys think? Okay, cool.
At any age, it's hard. That's what I would assume.
So no, not harder at 30.
I think it's hard at any age. So I
Stop answering like a politician, Tiana.
No, that's what I really think. I can't say 30 is going to be easier than 60. I'm not going to say that. Like, you could get done dirty at 60. You could probably think, oh, yeah, I'm going to grow old. We're going to.
Yeah, but you would have pension. You would have.
And then they diss you. What?
You know what I mean?
That could be way harder. So, or
you
easier.
Have a pension.
No.
To fall back.
Sorry, this is just off record, but I heard some really terrible stories. Like somebody that, that I know, their husband actually divorced them on the eve of their retirement just so they could actually take part of their pension and their retirement fund. So they actually couldn't retire because of the divorce because they had to pay spousal support. So they actually had to work for an additional 4 years before they could fully retire, be able to live on their own and be able to take care of themselves because that guy did them, that husband of how many years did them dirty. So I mean, just saying.
So that to me sounds worse than divorcing in the 30s. Just saying.
Right.
But
in your 30s, there's kids, there's more. I just feel like at any age, it's just.
I mean, we're not saying that divorcing. I'm not by any means saying that divorcing in the 30s is easy.
Right.
All I'm saying is I think it would be harder to restart later on. That's all I think.
Yeah. So like for me personally, I don't have kids. So I feel like if I was to get a divorce now, it would be like with my situation, I think I would be fine. Yeah, but I feel like if I was older and I had kids, or no, if I was now and I had kids, I think it would be really hard.
Oh yeah. Kids always make it harder, of course. Yeah.
At this stage in my life, if I had kids and I was getting a divorce, Yeah, versus older, and my kids are older. I personally feel like it wouldn't be easier, but I wouldn't have kids to think about.
And Tiana's holding strong at
Any age.
basically.
I'm jury. Like I can't answer the question.
All right, cool. Hung jury. All right, ladies, that is the wrap. Yeah, that is a wrap on episode 1 of season 2 of the Juice and Jury podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And I got to make sure I throw up those banners before we leave. Make sure that you are checking us out on Instagram and TikTok at the Juice and Jury podcast. Make sure that you are subscribed to our channel and ding that little bell like this, ding, so that you get notified every time we post a new video. If you want to hear us while you're driving in the car, make sure you check us out on all the podcast sites. We're on every podcast site that you can find. So platform. Thank you. And we also have an email address if you want to send in questions, comments, whatever you want to send us, money. Just saying. It's at the Juice and Jury podcast at gmail.com. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.